Here we go. So come onto your mat and let's just begin in a comfortable seat. And I'm just going to offer today, if you would like to use blocks, if you have them, if you enjoy them, feel free to grab them now. And if you don't have them or like to use them, no worries, right? So already you have a choice whether you want to abandon a suggestion or use that suggestion. And that's going to be similar thread throughout our practice. Like I'll offer suggestions, and that's all they are. They're suggestions, right? And if it feels appropriate for you in your body today, then you might try on the offer, the suggestion. And if it doesn't, then you just abandon it, right? Because we want to really individualize this practice for ourselves since we're all different. I can't see you. You can see me, but I also like to just mention it doesn't matter how the shapes look on me. They're going to look different on you, as they should, okay? I don't like that word should, but you know what I mean. So let's just come into a comfortable seat. Don't worry about the cross of your legs. See if you can be comfortable. If you have any knee issues, feel free to take one leg out long. Doesn't matter. As long as you have a nice long spine, you're all good. So that might even mean sitting on a block or a cushion, a blanket. If you're home, you may have a couch pillow to use. As long as your spine feels nice and long and free so the breath can move smoothly throughout you. Good. And then feel free to just close your eyes here, right? So that you just tune inward. You're not disturbed or distracted by me or any other visuals around you. And then just take a nice, long, deep inhalation through the nose. And gently let that go through the mouth or the nose, your choosing. And feel yourself settle into your mat a little bit. And do that twice more. A long, smooth breath in, feeling the rise up your spine. Letting go of your breath smoothly and somewhat completely as your shoulders relax and your face muscles soften. And then last breath in here, nice and deep and full and smooth. Letting it go and just feeling the sensation of the exhale, that release and that grounding against the mat. Good. And then with the nose only begin to find a long, smooth breath in and out. So we're just beginning with some breath awareness. The breath is a wonderful bridge between the body and the mind. It's in our physical bodies, and yet our mind can alter and change and shift it. And in doing so, when we shift the breath, we actually shift the quality of the mind. So long, smooth breaths. We'll take another couple moments here just to ground ourselves, relax. And just come into this present moment awareness. Feeling whatever you're feeling in your body. And just noticing and observing without judgment or criticism if possible. And then one more longer, deeper breath in. You can even sigh it out if you feel like you're holding on to any tension. Many of us are, particularly these days. And feel free to open up your eyes and just rest your hands on your legs somewhere. And let's just give the shoulders a couple rolls around, right? You can move the head in any way that feels good. Maybe the right ear toward the right shoulder, maybe left ear toward the left shoulder. Anything at all, right? Your body, your practice, your neck and shoulders. All right, and then from here, let's lift up both hands. Take a nice big breath. Reach, reach, reach. We're going to turn to the right on the exhale and spread out your arms. And then just take that right hand back behind you onto the floor. Left hand comes to the right leg there, anywhere comfortable. Can you drop your shoulders, lift through the crown of the head, and take a breath in when you're ready. And then belly button pulls in a little as you exhale, and you can use the leverage of your hands to help deepen the rotation. But the shoulders are going to stay soft, the back of the neck long, the face muscles relax. And then just gently turn your gaze forward first, and then release your hands. On an inhale, we'll lift them both up, both sides of the waist nice and long. We'll turn on the exhale to the left, arms spreading. And then left hand comes right back there where it is, right hand to the left leg, anywhere. Shoulders drop, crown of the head lifts. Nice big inhale up the spine. And as you exhale, belly button pulls in, and maybe you deepen the twist, but maybe you don't. It's never about going as far as we can in any of these shapes. It's just noticing the sensations that arise, keeping the breath smooth and even, making it sweet. Gaze will turn forward, and we'll come back to center. Arms lift again. Inhale. And then hands to the floor in front of you on your exhale. You may be on the fingertips here. You may have your hands all the way down. Wherever the hands land is perfect. I want you just to see if on your inhale you can almost pull the floor towards you to lengthen the heart forward, shoulders melt back. And then go ahead and round in if you like. As you exhale, you can drop your head. You can crawl the hands farther forward or farther back, whatever you need. And if you want to sort of sway the torso or sway the head a little, feel free. Notice if your sit bones are floating off the floor. And see if you can just anchor them down with a little bit of help from your hands or arms on the earth. Belly button's going to pull in, and you're going to start to climb yourself, hands back to your legs to lift up. Give your shoulders a little roll around, and then let's just uncross the legs and recross the other way. All right, so it's just going to give us a little hip opener, and it's going to be a little funkier typically on the second side because it's not our natural go-to side, which is great. We start to find more balance in the body. So arms up, inhale, both sides of the waist long. Gently fold as you exhale. Notice that it might feel quite different. It's all good. You're just noticing. Pull the floor a little toward you as you inhale. Heart comes forward so gently. And then feel free to round. Feel free to drop your head. Feel free to take the hands anywhere comfortable as the sit bones root. And maybe you rock a little. Right? I always like to invite some organic movement into these shapes just so that we're not rigid. And begin to climb your hands. Belly button pulls in as you climb your hands back toward you. And just roll yourself back up. Another little circle around for the head or the shoulders. So good, you guys. We're going to make our way up to hands and knees from here. So get there any way you like to get there. There's no right or wrong. And there's no right or wrong in any of these shapes. I mean, I'll give cues for alignment just for safety, not because it matters how it looks. Okay, so let's just try to keep that in mind for a moment. So knees beneath hips and wrists beneath shoulders so that we're always stable, right? We want to stack joints on top of joints for optimum stability and safety. And then we'll just take the left toes to the back of the mat. And it might feel good to open into the back of the knee there. Pull the belly button up a little bit. Lift the back of the head a little bit so your head's not dropping down, right? And just take a moment to feel that and breathe, finding some length from the back heel to the head. Good. Both hands are going to stay on the floor here. And see if you can just lift the left foot up. But as you lift the left foot up, notice that you're not lifting it so high that you're jamming into your low back. So imagine you're pressing that flat foot against a wall, right? So the heel is still reaching away from the head, the belly's still pulling up, the foot's no higher than hip height. Good. And then let's just turn the left toes out to the left, and that's going to lift the hip a little, which is fine. On an exhale, see if you can bend the lifted knee and take it up toward the left elbow. And then extend it back as you inhale. Toes can point down here. Knee bends up to the left elbow again as you exhale. Keep drawing the belly away from the floor. One more time. Inhale, lengthen the foot back, flexed. Exhale, knee up to that elbow. Can you just pause here? Doesn't matter if the knee touches, but can you lift the inner knee away from the floor a little more? And maybe if you want to work a little harder, your right arm is going to come out in like a cactus shape. And just feel that out. It's going to be a little challenging. See if the breath can stay steady. If it's too challenging, you'll back off. Now we're going to extend the left leg back and the right hand forward. Inhale as you lengthen the lifted limbs. Now we're going to bend the knee and elbow and take them beneath the body. So lifted elbow and knee come towards each other beneath us. Extend them out again as you inhale, and just one more time. Exhale, knee to elbow. You can drop the head and round the back. Extend them out one last time as you inhale, and now you're going to circle the right hand up. You're going to bend the back leg. See if you can catch the foot and kick the foot up. And let that right shoulder roll back And you can let your belly drop. And you can just find a little freedom there in the body, in the mind, in the breath. And then we'll release back to center. Inhale, right hand forward, left heel reaching back. And then hand and knee on the floor, back to all fours. Whew, right? We'll cat-cow here, so the belly's going to drop, the heart's going to lift. Inhale, you can kind of pull the hands toward the knees. And then exhale, round the back, drop the head. You can kind of press the hands forward to open into the back. Do it once more. Inhale, heart comes forward, sit bones pulling back so gently. Exhale, rounding. Belly can pull in to broaden into the low back. And we'll come to a flat back and neutral spine, and we'll do it all on the other side. So right toes to the back of the mat. And just pause there to first feel that, right? The heel reaches away from the head, the belly button pulls in. Maybe it feels nice to open into the back of that leg. Breath is steady and smooth throughout your practice. Good. And then when you're ready, go ahead and float that right foot up. But notice that it's not lifting so high that there's any compression in the low back. So the inner heel really drives back away from the crown of the head. Good. Belly pulls in to support that. And now we'll pivot the right toes out to the right. And you'll notice that's going to lift the hip, which is all good. And then on an exhale, we'll bend the knee and pull it up toward the right arm. Extend it back as you inhale. Toes can pivot down. Turn the foot out, knee comes up to the elbow, exhale. Once more, inhale to lengthen the head away from the heel. Exhale, bend the knee, draw it to the outer arm, and just pause. Maybe you can lift the inner knee a little higher, maybe not. Maybe you want to set it on the floor. If you want, left arm comes out to the left in a cactus shape, right? So this is challenging, right? Can you keep the breath smooth and even in the challenge? Or back off the challenge, because we certainly don't want to build tension, right? We're going to release it. So good. Let's extend the limbs now. Right leg back, left hand forward. Inhale, stretch. Knee and elbow come under you on the exhale. Let the back round. Extend them out. Inhale, little stretch. Exhale, round. Drop your head. Belly can pull up and in. Inhale, lengthen. And then we'll circle that left hand back, bend the right leg, see if you can catch the foot. If you can't catch the foot, it's okay, you can just bend the knee. But if you can catch the foot, can you kick the foot up? Can you let that left shoulder roll back? Turn the head any way it feels good, and just find a nice, sweet breath to bring a little more freedom into your body. And then gently release down center, one final stretch out. Hand and knee to the earth, exhaling, and we'll cat-cow it out again. Inhale, heart comes forward. Imagine pulling the hands toward the knees, they won't even move. Rounding as you exhale, hands can press the floor away, head can really drop heavy. And then again, inhaling, collarbones wide. Exhaling, low back starts to widen. You can shimmy or swivel the head or the hips, right? What would your body like here? Is there any circling that would feel good for the hips or the head or the shoulders? Maybe even the wrists. Yeah, whatever you need, just take a moment, right? Tune in, let your body know you're going to be taking care of it today. You're not going to overdo anything. All right, from here, you guys, we're just going to curl the toes under. Draw the belly in. See if the inner arms can roll forward a little, so we just keep the shoulders nice and safe. And slowly make your way into your first downward facing dog of the practice. And I like to pedal out my knees a little bit, maybe wiggle around my head a little bit. I want you to do whatever you feel is appropriate in this first downward facing dog. Readjusting the feet, readjusting the hands, whatever you need. And then once you find a little initial fidgeting, which most of our bodies kind of want in the beginning, see if you can find a little stillness. The knuckles at the base of each finger are pressing. The heels are disappearing as you look back at your feet, so they turn out ever so slightly. The neck is free, the face muscles are relaxed, and just enjoy the stretch. Enjoy stretching out the breath. So good. From here, let's lift our heels, Bend both knees, pull the hips away from the hands and look forward, inhaling. And then slowly walk to the front of your mat through your exhale. Lift your heart on your inhale. Hands can slide up to the fronts of the thighs or shins. And then fold in half as you exhale. I like to bend my knees in a forward fold. You'll have your knees bent or straight, depending upon how it feels for you. And then have the feet just hips width apart here. And start to bend your knees again. As the hips drop, fingertips are on the floor. You can even use your blocks if you have blocks and you want them. Okay. Start to lift all 10 toes. And see if the heart can pull away from the hips. So you're in a flat back with bent knees. Okay. Good. And then belly pulls in. You can take one hand at a time to each thigh and start to prop up your chest. Hips are dipping, toes are lifting, belly hugs in toward the spine. You may stay here with the hands giving your low back some support, or hands can lift up. It's a choice. Find what feels most appropriate for you. And notice what happens in the challenge, right? Does your breath get short, uneven, strained? Can you keep it smooth and even and supple so that your nervous system learns how to stay relaxed when things get a little challenging? Maybe sink a little deeper. Take an inhale. You can look toward the hands if that's comfortable. Press up to standing as you exhale. Bring your hands to your heart. Prayer pose. All right, take a moment. I need to readjust my yoga pants. Do anything you need to do. Hands at the heart here. Find a steady gaze. Your drishti, right? When we steady our gaze, it helps to steady the mind. Feel your 2 feet rooting, your belly button gently pulling back to support you, your shoulders soft. Put a little smile on your face if that feels okay for you, and just take a moment to be grateful that you're on your yoga mat, practicing yoga with people from all over the world. Honoring yourself, your uniqueness, your individuality, taking care of yourself, certainly. And then on your next inhale, just reach up. And exhale, fold forward, like a little swan dive forward sometimes. We can play with that later. Flatten the back as you inhale. Hands can slide up or maybe on blocks or the floor. And then we'll take the hands to the mat and move my blocks aside. And step all the way back to a plank pose, 1 foot at a time. Okay. So again, you can readjust, right? Maybe hands a little wider than shoulders. Belly can pull in, thighs engage. There's length from heels to head. The head's not dropping, right? The back of the head is lifting. Take an inhale. Then just lower your knees right where they are back there at that diagonal and pause. Draw the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Inner arms forward. Belly hugs in. Inhale, gaze slightly forward. And lower chest first if you can. Exhale. And then let your hips drop. Point your toes back. And just reach your hands back. And as you reach your hands back, for most of us, the palms spin up and the shoulders round forward. So spin the palms down with thumbs out and notice how that lifts the heart. Lifts the shoulders down the back. The face is now away from the floor, but the back of the neck is staying long. The toenails can press to help anchor you. Maybe the hands reach back to the heels a little more and you take one more breath, lifting the heart an inch or two higher. And chin comes down as you exhale, hands in cobra position. All right, cobra position, you might want to look at your hands, right? Look side to side. Draw the elbow tips back like you're a grasshopper, like they want to touch. Shoulders melt back. And think about pulling the hands back toward the heels to lift the heart. Cobra pose, inhale. Hips stay on the floor. Rolling down, exhale. We'll just do one more cobra. Inhale, heart lifts, collarbones wide. And curl the toes under through bent knees, hips lift. And then slowly make your way to the down dog. Any wiggling is fine. Any movement is fine. Maybe you want to play with stillness. Let's take our feet a little bit wider. Hips a little wider than the hips here. Heels disappearing, and then we're gonna lift the heels off the mat, come up onto the tippy toes, and see if you can swivel both heels over to the right. Right? So you're gonna be on the outer right foot, inner left foot, But then see if you can play with pressing the feet against the floor somewhat evenly so they flatten, and they may not, it's okay. Can you even out the weight in the hands, drop the head, and just draw the hips back away from the fingertips, like you're still in dog, but the legs are in a funky position. Good, and then back onto the tippy toes as you inhale. Heels swivel to the left as you exhale. So the feet are like on a balance beam, right? Does that make sense? And then the hips are lifting, the hands are pressing, the head is hanging, the breath flowing smoothly. All right, back onto the tippy toes. We inhale, bend the knees, look forward, exhale. Oh, sorry, that's an inhale. On an exhale, we walk to the front of the yoga mat. It does actually matter. Heart lifts on the inhale, shoulders roll back. Fold in half as you exhale. Into the chair, bend the knees, hands lift or on thighs. Inhale, sink but reach. Press to standing, exhale, hands to your heart. Whew. All right, we're gonna reach up on an inhale. Pause, turn to the right as you exhale, spread your arms. And notice if that left hip came with you, draw it back. Back up, inhale, both hands lift, look forward. Turn left, exhale, draw that right hip back a little. So the hips don't move, just the torso. Let's try it again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, turn to the right. Hips stay forward. Press evenly into the feet if you can. Back up, inhale, look forward. Exhale, turn. Press evenly in the feet. Draw the belly button back. Good. Inhale, reach up, maybe look up. You can swan dive down. Exhale. Whew. Flat back. Inhale, hands to shins, thighs, or floor. Plank pose. Exhale. Take a breath when you get to your plank. Set up the arms properly. Lower safely on your exhale. That might be knees, chest, and then hips. Whatever you like. One cobra. Inhale. Elbows bend, heart lifts. Downward dog, maybe through bent knees. Exhale. All right, so we're starting to bring a little heat into the body, yeah? A little more circulation and blood flow. A little more energy into some sleepy places, maybe. So we're just going to play a little bit more. Lift the heels, bend the knees, and look forward as you inhale. And then just walk up to the front of your yoga mat as you exhale. Flatten the back as you inhale. Find that length through the spine. And melt in, fold forward, exhale. So you can use your blocks here if you have them. If you don't have them, it's fine. You don't really need them. We're just going to take a little bend in the right knee and a big step back with the left foot. And then just pause for a moment. I'm going to use blocks. I want you to pivot that back heel flat, right? So remember when we pivoted the heels side to side? This time the foot's at an angle. The toes are pointing to the top left corner of your mat. Good. And then you're just going to, and see if the heels can intersect, right? So you don't have too wide of a distance between the feet here. Lengthen the heart forward. Think about drawing the right hip crease back. That's the bent leg. And then go ahead and bend the right knee right over the heel and just take the right elbow or forearm on top of the right thigh. We're going to take this left hand, reach it back, 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 and then all the way up to the ceiling. So the whole torso turns to the left. Good. And then you might feel a little uneven in your balance and just play with it. Draw that bottom right shoulder away from your ear. Lift the left hand up. Keep hugging the right hip back and root into the back foot. Then I like to free up the shoulder and neck a little bit. So we're going to take this left hand, the lifted hand, reach it back. Look down at your right toes. And then sweep it down toward the floor, forward and all the way up. And again, exhale back and down. Inhale forward and pause. Reaching the left hand forward, can you spin the thumb up? And then can you use that right elbow against the right thigh, keep the knee right over the heel there, and start to roll the heart up as if you could, right? So you're really turning the torso to the left here. That bottom right shoulder moves down the back. Relax this bottom right hand. It tends to want to do some funky things. Good. And then left hand comes all the way back up. And we're going to reach it back again. This time we'll spin the palm back, thumb pointing down, and take the hand behind the back. And maybe the left hand crawls over to the right hip. Maybe it's just on the low back. Doesn't matter. See if it can help draw the right hip back toward the left foot. Lengthen both sides of the waist and roll that left shoulder away from the right shoulder. So the collarbones feel really wide. The breath can flow so freely through the torso. The neck is in line with the spine, it's not dropping. And then imagine that you could press the feet apart to hug the belly in, and maybe you play with floating that right elbow off the thigh. Maybe you're like, nah, I'm holding my breath, I'm going to take the elbow right back down. Maybe it's comfortable enough for you that you can reach the right arm forward. Whatever you like, left shoulder rolls back, right knee stays bent. On an inhale, you're going to reach up with the right hand, lifting your torso, and then reach it back. Good, and you should feel a nice, sweet little opening into the right side of the waist there as that right knee bends maybe a little bit deeper. That back shoulder drops. Let the breath flow freely. Good, and then we're going to straighten the front leg. Nice, and then we're going to take the right hand forward again, palm up. Draw that left shoulder back just for a moment. Good, and then see if your right hand comes down to the right shin. Maybe you use a block outside the foot. Maybe it comes all the way to the floor. Doesn't matter, right? That right hip, the front hip still draws back, and then the left shoulder rolls up, and when you're ready, the left hand lifts. So now you're in the triangle pose, which is kind of a difficult pose to teach, but it feels pretty good. So a couple things just to mention here. If you look down, you want to see if your torso can align over your leg. You want to press into the front right big toe so you're a little more stable. And let that inner back thigh roll back, right? So your left hip isn't lifting above the right hip. That left hip can point toward the floor. And then you get more extension through the spine. And then both shoulders move away from the ears. The head stays in line with the spine. The belly hugs in. Feel your breath. Good. You can look down to the right toes. Start to bend that front right knee. And then reach it back and rise back up. Second warrior. Here we go. We're just going to reverse the warrior. Right hand up and back. Right knee bends. Inhale. And we'll circle both hands to the front of the yoga mat. You can use your blocks or no blocks. It's optional. Just lift your back heel off the floor. And then lean into the left hand. That's the opposite hand. And lift the right hand up. Good. And then think about hugging the hips together. Think about engaging that back leg and lengthening the heel away from the head. Think about the breath flowing so smoothly and evenly. And keep pressing into that front right big toe. And then just take another sweet breath in. And your right hand comes back down. All right, we're going to look forward. And on an exhale, we're just going to step forward. Lift the heart. Inhale, flat back, long, sweet spine. And fold forward. Exhale. We're going to bend the left knee, do the other side. Take the right foot all the way back, right? Blocks or no blocks, totally optional. Pivot your back heel flat, right? But the toes angle to the top right corner of your yoga mat. Before we come up, we just want to set up the feet, set up the legs. That's our foundation. So the heels intersect if that's comfortable. If you need a wider distance between the feet, no worries. Left hip draws back, heart lengthens forward. Good. And then left elbow can come right on top of that left leg. Right hand, take it back, back, back. And up when you're ready. Good. And you might want to look down at the left toes just to make sure that knee's in line. You might want to pay attention to the bottom shoulder so the left side of the neck feels free. The right foot's pressing back, the belly's hugging in. Good, and then we'll circle that right hand back. You can look down if you like. Let it drop toward the floor, and then forward over the ear and all the way up. And again, exhale it back and down. Inhale it forward and just pause. See if the thumb can spin up, but the heart can also spin up. So you're using now the left arm against the left leg to help with a little rotation of the torso, right? That left hip keeps drawing back. That left knee stays bent over the left heel. Feel your breath. Feel what's happening. Relax this bottom arm. And then right hand comes up on an inhale. Reach it back again. And this time, palm spins back. Right? So you internally rotate that shoulder. We'll take the hand behind us. If it climbs over to the left hip, great. It can help coax the left hip back toward the right heel. If it's on the low back, great. It's all good. Can you, though, broaden your collarbones, roll your right shoulder back away from your left shoulder? Before you lift that elbow, you want to stabilize your core. So you can think of pressing the feet apart. Sometimes that's helpful. Hugging the hips in, drawing the navel in, and maybe the left elbow floats and you just play with it and you determine if that's appropriate or not. Maybe it's okay to reach the left arm forward. Just try not to round that right shoulder. Let it draw back, back, back. Good. Hug that left hip back, reach the left hand forward, bend the front knee, and then on an inhale, reach the left hand up and back, reversing your warrior. Back shoulder softens. I don't think that's quite a word. Left knee bends. Find a nice spaciousness there in the left ribs. Maybe sink a little lower into the front leg and then go ahead and straighten it. And changes the shape a little bit. Take one more inhale here. Nice. And then reach the left hand forward. That right arm's still behind you. Left hand forward, palm up. Left hip drawing back. You're pressing into the left big toe. And when you're ready, left hand can come down. Shin, thigh, block, or floor. Doesn't matter. Roll the right shoulder back, right? And then when you're ready, lift the right hand up. So you're in the triangle. And it's really easy just to kind of dump in here, right? But can you keep working it? Hips can hug together. Left big toe can press. Using your block if you like, outside the foot. Good. And that inner right thigh rolls back. So you notice this right hip isn't drawing back. You're letting it roll forward, which will help create extension through your spine. Neck in line with the spine. You can try a little smile, shoulders down away from the ears. Just feel it out. Belly hugs in for some support there in your low back. Notice how that might change things. All right, we're going to look at the left toes, bend the left knee. That's the front knee. And then reach the right hand back to lift you up. Second warrior. Go ahead and reverse your warrior. Left hand back, big inhale. And both hands circle up to your blocks if you have them, or the front of your mat. Back heel is going to lift. Just pause as that left knee bends. Lean into the opposite hand, the right hand, and lift the left one. So the hips want to kind of fall apart here. Hug them in toward the midline of the body and lengthen the back heel away from the head. And then, of course, the breath is flowing seamlessly, smoothly. When you're ready, left hand comes down, look forward, and step to the front of your yoga mat. Beautiful. Flat back as your inhale, heart lifts. And fold forward as you exhale. You can move your blocks aside if you use them. And we'll just step all the way back to plank pose. You can set up your hands. Index fingers forward. I like the other fingers fanning out. It helps the inner arm spiral forward. You can keep the knees lifted or drop the knees down. Your choice. Take an inhale, gaze slightly forward. And see if the chest can lower before the hips as you exhale. And then just pause, let your hips settle, point your toes back. We're going to reach the hands back again. Palms face the floor, heart lifts. And this time we'll lift the feet as well. If you like, you can interlace your fingers or hook thumbs to get a little more lift through your heart. See if the breath can be smooth. If you want more, you can bend both knees, reach back to catch both ankles, and lift the feet up to open across the heart. Back of the neck stays long, forehead stays relaxed. Your eyebrows are not going to help you here. Last breath. And we'll release, hands into cobra position, tops of the feet press. Inhale up to your cobra. And last downward facing dog of the practice, exhale. Enjoy the length. Enjoy the strength. Enjoy the flow of the breath, that present awareness. When we come into our bodies, we get out of our thinking minds. Such a nice reprieve. Last breath in here, press the floor away. And the knees come to the earth. All right, let's crawl the knees forward. And we're going to sit back today. Trying to make sure we have enough time for everything. We're going to extend the right leg forward, and left foot to the inner right thigh. I'll face you so you can see. Good. So right toes flex back. Both sit bones root and ground, and then lift your arms. Take an inhale, both sides of the waist nice and long. We're just going to fold over that straight leg on the exhale, right? So let your hands just come wherever they come. It's not about getting as deep as you can. It's just managing the sensation so it's just enough, so it's sweet. So you can almost pull the floor toward you. Heart comes forward. Inhale, shoulders soft. And then feel free to round in as you exhale. And notice what you're feeling from heel to head. If it's too much in your hamstring, you can bend the knee a little bit. You can sway a little bit. Let the breath flow into the sticky places, right? And let the exhales help to soften them and release them. And we'll slowly take the hands back toward the hips to lift the head. We'll take the right foot in to meet the left. Take an inhale just to lift the heart, soften the shoulders. And exhale, left leg forward. So keep the right knee bent, sole of the foot to the inner left thigh, arms lift, big inhale, both sides of the waist nice and long. And we'll fold on the exhale. Wherever the hands land is perfect. Imagine pulling the floor toward you as you inhale so the heart moves a little forward. And then go ahead and round as you exhale, dropping your head. Enjoying the opening through the back body. The opening of the mind. And just becoming present and aware and taking care of yourself. Exhales help to soften and release. And that's what they do. They carry tension and toxicity out of our bodies. Start to climb your hands back towards you to lift yourself up. And then we'll take both legs forward. Good. Flex all 10 toes. Lift both hands. Take a nice deep breath. And we'll fold over both legs on the exhale. So take a moment. Let the hands land wherever they land. Again, pull the floor toward you to pull the heart so gently forward as you inhale, soft shoulders. And then feel free to round as you exhale. You can drop your head. So you might notice one side's tighter than the other. It's okay. You're just noticing, you're not judging or creating a drama or story about it. And then start to crawl your hands back towards you to roll yourself up. And you're just going to roll onto your back from here. So roll back, hug your knees into your chest. And take a little rock side to side if that feels good. So nice. All right, from here, let's take the left foot onto the floor, or we can start with both feet on the floor. Sorry, readjusting again my pants. Left foot on the floor, we're going to cross the right ankle bone. So just a little thread the needle. I really like this one. Right hand can just press the right leg forward. That might be enough. You do want to flex the right toes to protect your knee. And then you can hug the left leg toward you. So I take my hands beneath my hamstring. Some people grab their shin, right? Just depends how your hips feel. And you just want to soften the jaw. You can wiggle it. The eyes can close. The shoulders drop. And just feel your breath. You're going to start to wind down. You're going to start to let go of any effort. And begin to really relax into those exhales. And then just let go of this left leg, uncross the right ankle. We'll go right to the second side, crossing the left ankle bone, flexing the left toes back, drawing that left knee forward might be enough. Or you can hug the right leg towards you. And again, back of the neck long, eyes and jaw and mouth soft, and that breath just flowing so smoothly. And then when your mind starts to take you away, as it will, especially when we're not moving so much, just return to the breath and the sensations you're feeling. So gently, without judging or criticizing. Good. Let go of your right leg, uncross your left, and then let the feet come together, let your knees drop apart. You can take a hand onto your heart and a hand onto your belly. You can close your eyes, or if you prefer, you can take your arms out in a cactus shape. And just feel the breath in your body. Can you let your belly expand and fill as you inhale? And naturally drop back as you exhale. So really using the lower lungs a little more here. Inhale, belly expands up and out to the sides. And exhale, just allow it to soften. You're not having to force the air out in any way. And then draw the navel in and bring the knees up together. We're just going to cross the right knee over the left knee here. And then press that left foot into the floor, just to scooch the hips over to the right a little bit. You can reach your right arm out to the right. And then just let both knees drop over to the left. And if this doesn't feel appropriate for you, you can uncross the knees. You can turn the head whichever way feels best, often looking opposite to the knees, or nose opposite to the knees is kind of nice to involve the cervical spine in the twist. And again, just return to the breath and these sensations, allowing your belly to really fill up and swell as you inhale. And just naturally softening inward as you exhale, feeling the movement of the breath in the belly, in the torso. Last one. As you exhale, you're going to hug the belly in a little more actively now to bring the knees back up. And then you're just going to uncross, readjust the hips to center, and then left knee over right knee. Right? So like you're sitting in a chair with a skirt on. Left arm to the left. You can press that right foot against the floor just to shimmy the hips over to the left a little bit, and then both knees over to the right. And turning the head whichever way feels best on your neck. Relaxing your shoulders, your face, your hips, your toes, and your fingers, and letting the belly swell and soften. So you're just helping to facilitate moving any toxins out of your body when the breath is a little deeper. Helping to facilitate the softening of the mind and that relaxation response in the nervous system. On your next exhale, you're going to actively draw the belly in to take the knees back up. And then go ahead and uncross your knees, readjust your hips to center, hug both knees into your chest. You can take a little circle with the knees in both directions, give the low back a little massage there on the floor, and then coming to center, just draw your nose to your knees. Give yourself a hug, maybe wrap your arms around your legs. Take a nice big breath in. When you're full, hold the breath just for 3, 2, 1, and then let it go and open up for Shavasana. Well deserved, as always. So feel free to take any comfortable Shavasana shape you like. Maybe legs go out long, you can flop the feet open, you can scooch the shoulder blades down, let your palms spin up and the backs of the hands rest. Take up some space, right? Close your eyes. Soften the muscles around the eyes. Separate the top and bottom teeth. You can play with a little smile on your face because we are officially finished with any efforting. And now it's just time to receive and relax. And absorb all of the goodness of this practice, of these moments, resting, being without doing or planning. Just be. You notice your mind starting to plan or take you into the future. Don't judge it in any way or criticize yourself. It's what the mind does, right? Just come back to feeling the body and that more soft and subtle breath as it passes in and out through the nose And let your awareness rest on the belly, that very gentle rising and falling, or right at the tip of the nose, where you feel the cooler air moving in and the air a little warmer moving out. And when you feel like you want to let go of even that, then do, and just relax. I invite you to stay as you are on your backs a little longer if that feels like something you'd like to do. If you feel like you're ready to move on with your day, then you can start to bring a little movement into your toes and fingers. You can hug your knees in, or rock over to one side. And just don't rush. Just make your way gently back up to a comfortable seat when you're ready.